Yo, what's up guys? New video, and as mentioned with the video of yesterday showing the Dark Indra, I got a response of saying like, okay, I actually have the light one. Do you want to test the light one? And I think the light one is a lot more interesting than the dark one. Dark one by all means is not bad. I got a few comments also saying like, hey, you didn't showcase it that well because it has more potential if you go for an AoE strip like Gemini or something else like a Tiana, Savannah, and then you go for it. In Siege, yep, definitely good, decent options for it, but then again, I don't really see it being used that much in RTA or something like that. Like in the end, Siege offense, if you have good runes to it or combine it with other LD5's, same as I use, for example, the Zongchen, Lao, Xian, and Iris team, if you just put good enough to it, it will work. How about Dyeus for looking at this? And wow, damn, this guy actually has a lot. Like, thanks for letting me borrow this account, but there's some premium stuff on this account. Holy guacamole! Wait, I didn't notice there was this much Gucci stuff on it. But yeah, Shokas is this unit. So we have the same S1 as the other ones. S2 has a decreased attack bar for 2 turns, okay? And then also leaves a branding, pretty interesting. And then we have this one, which stun the enemy for 1 turn with a 50% chance when you attack. Under the Thunder state, decrease the enemy defense. So it's a defense break branding, it seems. It's pretty nasty. And then it also, if the target is stunned afterward, decrease the Thunder state. That's a lot of stuff to it. And then we have the passive. The passive means, well, pretty much a whole bunch of stuff. You get a 100 crit rate. And therefore you also see this one is pretty nice runed already. But we are at the 214 crit damage with no crit rate. 160 speed, 106 base speed, very high base attack. HP and defense pretty lacking, but that totally makes sense for that high HP. What do we have for artifacts? A bunch of stuff. He said he didn't try it out in RTA yet because he haven't been RTAing that much as of lately. But he has been trying it out in just normal arenas. Well, currently not that high in arena, so we're probably not going to be able to test it against very good defense. But let's see where he has it set up right now for what he uses it. He has too many man, look at this. This is so incredibly strong. Like, it wouldn't need a Nephthys. I think he's not even going to move. Like, I don't know, man. Wait, does he move? Yeah, he moves in front of that. But this will be an interesting account to rush on, not gonna lie. Oh, damn. That's some premium stuff right there. Okay, let's see what this does. Well, Maximilian kind of cleans up everything already. We are not having any attack buff right now, but let's just see how that works out. If we go for this skill, and then we go for this skill. How much damage do you do first of all? We're doing 20k. Okay, 20k on that. That's not that much. This one is parried, I guess, but did we miss? Yeah, we probably missed a few critters and then 20k on that. Okay, there's missing a few damage potential things, but okay. This does actually kind of clean up things pretty badly. Very badly. Okay, let's give that few more tries because that is pretty interesting. Okay, with all of those mollies and that kind of stuff, we're not going to see the full potential of it that much. So let's give it a go like this. It's also pretty interesting where he provides defense break. So the big question would be, does he provide defense break before damage or defense break after damage? So in this case, we can actually see it because we missed the defense break on one unit. And let's see how that looks like for the damage on the Wusa compared to the other two. So we do have defense break landing. We have a bunch of brandings here landing as well. What can we see for the damage? I do assume that damage happens before defense break because we do a lot less damage on this one. I do, however, assume that the damage or the branding comes before the damage. So we have armor break after damage and branding before damage, it seems like. At least that's what I can see from here. Well, Abelia always has somewhat more defense, but I would assume that Carnal and Shazam kind of have the same amount of defense style. So, yeah, that's okay. So, it is a defense setup unit. So, it's more of a setup unit than a full-on finisher unit, I would say. However, for RTA, since it does provide so much in the whole kit, I think there's pretty decent. Like, I wouldn't claim it like super next level OP kind of stuff, but I can see its potential definitely in there, and I think this will be a pretty interesting unit for people to actually use because in the end, you don't need any crit rate. You have a whole bunch of like that's third skill setting up so much stuff. I'm actually gonna go for next match. I'm gonna go for an attack bar buffer rather than a Maximilian and kind of see where it goes from there because in the end Maximilian already does so much on just providing the damage, and he's a nice finisher. He does a decent amount of damage, but you kind of need something to move after him for sure. Like in this case, the Talisman does a great job in that. And yeah, now I'm showcasing this team with a little bit too many LD5's, I think. But let's see if we use this team. Okay, probably will get outs, but do we have a Samath or something like that that would be pretty useful in the current test that I would like to do? We do have a Samath, and that is perfectly tuned like the way I want to at the moment. So Talisman might get cut by a Volantis though, but let's see, because this unit can also provide a stun, and the stun is not of the highest rate if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, then again, do you want to put like high... like it's pretty interesting what you actually want to put at it. Like 50% stun, I'm not sure if it necessarily goes up. We also have the branding is pretty low rate, so the rates in the end are not the highest. But in the end, if stuff does land, we do see a whole bunch of armor breaks. We see one branding over here, so the branding is kind of random. But yeah, you can definitely use him as setup, whereas he just does a whole bunch of stuff. Do we actually cut that? We do cut that. Interesting. So we do cut Abelios with the stuff. Well, actually, I think every unit should cut Abelios right now. But yeah, that's a solid unit by itself. So I'm not necessarily sure if you would use him as a finisher and in between. Well, the thing with Maximilian and Talisman, he's like super great in between. Damage output of him is, I would say, a little bit less than I expected, but on the other hand, I should actually test him with a Galleon moving in front of him, which is a test I can do afterwards. But there's just so many. Well, this is a unit dropping AoE, attack break, branding, stun, and defense break. Like, sure, not by the highest rates, but that is a lot of like in one kit. That is a lot of stuff going on. That seems very strong. Like, sure, it's a squishy unit, but I can totally see, like, if you have some kind of RTA cleave that works towards this whole kind of setup, he's a very nice setup, I would say. He has a lot of stuff going on in his kit. So let's actually see if we just drop a Galleon in front of him. This would do that much damage reduction. That is probably not the best of tests. Do we have a 210. Okay, how fast is the Galleon on? Okay, the Galleon, let's just check, moves just in front because we got 260 and we got, yep, that definitely does move in front. So let's give that a go. Pretty curious to see how much damage output he has. And once again, he's pretty interesting to bolt because no crit rate. And the no crit rate part just makes him very nice. I'm not sure how much he would do as a bruiser, like using S1s and that kind of stuff, but because we never really got to that point. But let's see for damage. 35 throughout the board, which is not the most, I would say. I kind of expected more from 214 crit damage with 1500 attack, to be honest. Is that decent? I'm not sure. It feels somewhat on the lower side, I would say. Also, I'm expecting these units to have somewhat lower crit rate. But I do kind of feel like that's somewhat on the lower side. Let's actually go for skill 1 instead and see how that looks in this case. But I must say that this unit looks a lot more promising and potential having. Okay, so this is where we missed a lot of death breaks. So definitely in this case, you do want to use that as 2, but just for the testing purpose, I'm going to use as 1. So let's give that a go. Skill animation also looks amazing. 17k attack buff. Wait. What? 17k as 1? That looks very lackluster. Let's give that one more try. Or is there something missing with the attack buff that you cannot even set up attack buff on it? Because I thought for a second I had no attack buff when I attack, but I could be wrong. It could also be because he takes 1 turn. Like, you cannot use 1 turn boosters because he actually removes 1 turn himself. So if you do this skill, he actually has 1 turn attack buff left. So that is definitely a thing. But let's go for that S2 again. Yeah, I think it's just... Okay, the damage output of him is somewhat lower than expected. So he's definitely more of a setup guy than a guy to do the full potential damage. Pretty interesting unit. So guys, if you have this unit, Let me know in comments where you would recommend to use it, or if you don't have it, also let me know where you recommend to use it. Very interesting unit, definitely a very cool unit, and this account in general is just pretty dope. Like, there's so much good stuff in this, man. Guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.